Peace and welcome, everyone. Excuse the mess in the background. Hope everyone's doing well. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It is a beautiful day. Still working on getting the cameras adjusted. Have my melanin infinity. I can never figure it out. But the Ankh is by Infinite Treasures, Ras Naim and his beautiful wife. They are such a beautiful couple. And you can see in the background here, whoever caught the live stream the other day, which I'm going to delete because it's just a filler live stream. But this is the painting that I completed on that live stream. Hope you enjoy it. I am doing preparations for the Cannabis Festival in Kutztown, which is coming up. Before we know it, it'll be here in 2 weeks. Getting ready for that festival, and it is tea time. So, what's in your cup this morning? I'm having an amazing cup of yerba mate. And let me just get set up so I will be able to see the live stream, the live chat. So just bear with me a moment. Here we go. So how did you start your morning off today? Did you do what you normally do? Are you getting results from your actions? As I was making my cup of yerba mate this morning, my cup of tea, what came to mind is a quote attributed to Albert Einstein. Now, I never knew the gentleman personally, so I can't say yay or nay that he actually spoke these words, but the interwebs attributes this quote to Albert Einstein. The definition of insanity: repeating the same actions, again, I'm paraphrasing, repeating the same actions and expecting a different result. This morning, I woke up at 6:30. Well, didn't get out of bed until 7 a.m. Called my best friend, told her to give me a call when she was on her ride to work. Came out into my living room, sat down for meditation. And then my best friend called as I went off for a nice little jog this morning, and it was wonderful. Nice cool breeze and sunshine. And then when I got back, I thought to myself, it's time to do a live stream. Don't want to keep that at bay. So we're going to do some readings this morning from Kuan Yin, of course. And today's card, let me see, turn this light down a bit. There we go. We're going to read from today's I Ching, the 6th hexagram. We're going to start off with a little Kuan Yin. So I'm going to share with you reading. This is Kuan Yin, Accessing Power, the Power of the Divine Feminine by Daniela Schenker. We're going to read about Anu Kuan Yin. The key word is sanctuary. Seated on a rock, surrounded by water, Kuan Yin looks over an expansive sacred lake. Her presence blesses all beings living nearby, and she provides protection from the perils of the swirling waters. Anu is considered the manifestation of a crystal clear sacred lake that, according to Indian legend, is located on the northern side of the Himalayas. 4 sacred rivers flow from this lake. Its shores are covered in gold, silver, and emeralds, and the beaches are golden sand. Wow, that sounds like an amazing place. The holy lake Anu is a special power spot. Here, everything is purified, and this is the energy Kuan Yin represents. The water, mind, is crystal clear. There are no clouds or disturbances. Gold and silver represent the universal energy of the heart. The 4 sacred rivers spread out to the 4 directions, carrying the pure, sacred consciousness of Kuan Yin throughout the world. If there are living beings who hear this chapter on Bodhisattva, perceiver of the world's sounds, on the freedom of his actions, his manifestation of a universal gateway, and his transcendental powers, it should be known that the benefits these persons gain are not few. From the Lotus Sutra, chapter 25, Contemplation. Open yourself to Anu Kuan Yin if you wish to be purified and access your inner sanctuary. Visualize this sanctuary and explore how you would like to use it. So that is Anu Kuan Yin. I like to think of our sanctuary as this sacred and special place that resides within the center of each of us. We can also consider it our locus of control, a space where we go to when we're feeling the stress of the world, when we're dealing with a lot of chaos, relationship issues, family issues, marriage issues, work issues. It's so easy to allow these things to take control of us, and then they become our locus of control, which would be an external locus of control. But Kuan Yin, Anu Kuan Yin, reminds us to go within, to tap into that pure lake of consciousness that is our minds when it's release of disturbances. There's no clouds. There's nothing to cover the sun up. But we can only reach that state when we take time to center and to sit with ourselves. When we take time to turn off the television, to withdraw from external distractions, whether it's distractions at the mall, even within the community. And we sit with ourselves and truly get to know ourselves and to face the shadows or the demons that we might fear, that we're projecting on the world. But we recognize that everything is within us. And it's up to us to do the work, to clear that space, to recognize who we are. We have to withdraw from the malls, withdraw from sitting at the bar for hours at a time, withdraw from all sorts of external distractions. And if we sit at that shore, Anu Kuan Yin is right there beside us to show us a crystal pure vision of our true nature. So on the continued journey of I Ching, we are on hexagram number 6, and we will explore this hexagram. Benabel Wen calls this hexagram conflict and entitlement. The last hexagram, I believe we left off, I think it was number 5. So now we're on 6, and hopefully I'm not repeating myself. So we look at hexagram number 6, and it is heaven over water. And we just looked at water with Anu Kuan Yin. So we're going to look at the bagua that make up this gua. Heaven. Heaven is the top one, which are the 2 masculine lines. It represents creation, the creative force, divine yang, strength and creativity, expansive energy, the sky, power, authority, the celestial kingdom, the immaterial and intangible. The element is metal. The direction is northwest. The season of the yellow path is cardinal autumn. The season from Lo Shun 9 halls is winter solstice. The life aspect is fatherhood, blessings, allies, friends, opportunities. Medically is related to the head, the brain, the spinal cord, the nervous system, mental or emotional states. The chakra is the crown chakra. The animal is the horse. The archetype is the philosopher and the sage. And the immortal is Han Xianji, patron of musicians. And its empowered state, of course, is the double hexagram of number 1, which is heaven. And that heaven is over water, which is 2 yin lines with a yang line in the center. So water, great depths, being submerged into the depths, strong movement or momentum, the moon, lunar forces, exercise caution, potential for danger, profundity, the occulted, the esoteric, unseen terrestrial energies. The element is water, of course. The direction is north. The season in the yellow path is cardinal winter. Season in the Lo Shun 9 halls is spring equinox. The life aspect is career trajectory or life path. Medically is related to ear, hair, kidney, bladder, bones, marrow, blood, body fluids, lower abdomen, stagnated toxins, bacteria, viruses, poisons, phobias, and fears. The chakra is the plexus, the solar plexus chakra. Animal is the pig and also the tortoise. The archetype is the pilgrim and the seeker. The immortal is Ti De Guai, patron of healers, medical doctors, physicians, invoked for helping the poor and the downtrodden. The empowered state of water is hexagram number 29. And Benabel Wen translates this as conflict and entitlement. And the name of the hexagram is song. So what song are you singing? Welcome, Naisha. Oh, it's so good to see you. It's been a while. Welcome. Good day to you too. Social conflicts. Omnius. You may not be the one perpetuating the matter that is giving rise to the contention or conflict, but you will likely suffer minor injuries in being criticized or spoken out against. Moving apart gives rise to tension. Tension gives rise to conflict. You are in the right, and yet you run into opposition. There is a character involved in the matter, a cunning, determined character that is quite quarrelsome. Reflect on your own sense of entitlement to pinpoint the source of the conflict. Do not undertake hazardous enterprises. And that was from Benabel Wynn's translation of the I Ching. And you can find this translation on her website, benabelwyn.com, www.benabelwyn.com. And it is in her I Ching Practitioners course. And we're going to look at the late Professor Kursan Hong's. He was a physics professor at MIT. We will check out his translation. Well, actually, most translations are, in fact, interpretations, because translating from the ancient Chinese is, not an easy task. But Kursan Hong, what he does is he does a literal line by line direct translation. And most other translations are, in fact, interpretations. And he titles the sixth Gua, or the sixth hexagram, as the court. Heaven over water. The punishment is postponed. Be alert. Temporary good fortune ends in misfortune. Auspicious to see the great personage, not auspicious to cross the great stream. So starting with the first line, and remember, with the hexagrams or the gua, you're starting at the bottom. So we're starting with water, the yin of water, and then we're working our way up to heaven. So line 1, leaving one's work unfinished. Let me get that right, sorry. Leaving one's work unfinished draws a small reprimand, but all will end well. Line 2, having lost in court, he returned and fled. The 300 households of his town were thus spared harm. Line number 3, the store of goodwill is eroded. Danger, but all ends well. Should you serve the king, nothing would be achieved. Line number 4, having lost in court, he returned to follow rules, accepting defeat. Good omen for settling down. Line number 5 is short and sweet. Great success in court. And line number 6, a belt of honor is bestowed, perhaps, and recalled thrice in one morning. And for those of you who can read the Chinese, there you go. Take a snapshot of that. And last but not least, we're going to check out Brian Brown Walker's interpretation of that hexagram. And as I've always said, if you were to just get one book on I Ching and you're not, like reading I Ching professionally, reading it for other people, and you're just wanting it for contemplation, this ageless book of wisdom, I definitely recommend Brian Brown Walker's. He does a beautiful and warm interpretation of the I Ching. So we're going to look at his. And please do not mind my scraggly voice. Okay, so hexagram number 6, sung, conflict. The proper response to conflict, whether it lies within or without us, is disengagement. Whenever we allow ourselves to be drawn off balance, away from the strength of quiet integrity, we are in conflict. It matters not whether the confrontation is between competing values in one's own mind or with another person. It is the inner departure from clarity and equanimity that leaves us with feelings of despair and vulnerability. The only remedy is to disengage from the problem and return to quiet contemplation of what is correct. Conflict provokes strong feelings of doubt, fear, anxiety, and impatience to resolve the situation. If you act under the influence of these inferior emotions, you will severely complicate the misfortune. By following the prescription of the sage and returning to a position of neutrality, acceptance, and detachment, you are able to meet opposing forces halfway, not recoiling in anger and condemnation, not pressing forward for some unnatural change in things, but waiting calmly in the center until the higher power provides the correct solution. The I Ching teaches us that all conflict is, in the end, inner conflict. When you are seeing it beginning, you are obliged not to pursue it, for this only compounds your own misfortune. If you cannot regain your equanimity on your own, then seek the assistance of a just and impartial person to resolve the difficulty. The only way we live free of conflict is to hold steadfastly to proper principles in all things. Through balance, patience, and devotion to inner truth, we rise above every challenge. And that was all he wrote. And that was really beautiful. So if you yourself, and it's so interesting because I am actually finding myself in the center of a fairly major life conflict right now. And I have to admit that, I'm a very strong-willed person, and, I do stand my ground. But what this is saying to me, and I had no idea that this was going to be a message today, but this is reminding me is to detach from the conflict, to let it go, allow it to resolve on its own, not add to any of the tension. Allow the constituents of the conflict to, as Albert Einstein so aptly put, if you continue to repeat, to do the same thing, but expect a different outcome, that's the definition of insanity. So withdrawing and allowing the others that are involved in whatever conflict that you're in, allow them to show a different action, allow yourself to show a different action, and allow the conflict to resolve naturally without expending excessive energy. So thank you, I Ching, and thank you, Anu Kuan Yin. And I will pull one more card and ask if anyone would like a tarot or an oracle card pulled for themselves. Let me know. Put it in the chat room and I will gladly pull a card for you. I am going to pull a card from, this is from Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. Love his work. So let's take a card from there. Okay. And we have the power of presence. Action arising. Here we go. Action arising out of insight into what is required is more effective than action arising out of negativity. So there you go. There's our message for today. And I'm going to take one moment to pull us a card for today. All right, so I had to locate my tarot cards. And we're going to pull one of the major arcana. Just give me one moment. Let's see. There we go. There, I got my major arcana here. And get these cards shuffled. I like to use the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Okay. Always going back to that card, the Magician, the Magician. So let's look at the elements within a Magician card. What do you notice at the crown of the Magician? The symbol of infinity. And in his right hand, he has a wand, and he's pointing up to the heavens. His left hand, index finger, is pointing to the earth. So you have the energy of the heavens, you have the energy of the earth. He's got his emotions, the water. You have the pentacle, which represents the material, which could also represent finances. And the sword lying on the table represents the intellect. And the wand, which represents fire or passion. And the table, which is like the foundation of everything that you've learned. What direction are you willing to take your life in today? Are you going to use your knowledge? Are you going to use your power? And it's not an aggressive power, but it's just like your innate energy that you were born with, the energy that you inherited from both your mother and your father, and the energy that you're cultivating in your life. Word that just came to my mind is recipe. You have your cloak of protection on. You know your foundation, so above as below. Create today what you would like to see. And as the hexagram reminds us, release any negativity, release any opposition, release any resistance to what is going on around you. Release the opposition and resistance of what's going on within. You know what you need to do. You have all of your tools. It's up to you to make it happen. And you see that number 1 at the top? You are the one that you've been waiting for. And of course, when I'm speaking to you, I'm also speaking to myself and for myself. So with that, I will leave you today. Have a beautiful day. May today be your best. Thank you for joining us for this tea time. I wish you peace and great bliss.